After watching The Substance, it's hard to get rid of the feeling of confusion. What the hell was it? A body horror? A feminist drama? A sharp criticism of Hollywood? Or all at once? This Coralie Fargeat movie was a sensation of the year, dividing audiences into those who think it's brilliant and those who can't digest the shocking scenes. Why does The Substance resonate so much? How does it break the common perceptions of beauty and success? And what is actually behind the image of the monster in the ending? Let's find out together. The Substance is a movie that makes us reconsider our attitude to ourselves and the world around us. It is a story about self-acceptance and how the pursuit of unattainable beauty standards can destroy a person from the inside. But let's go deeper. What is behind the plot and shocking images of this movie? There are two female characters at the heart of the plot, who confront each other at first glance. But you can see their conflict as the inner battle of one soul. Margaret Qualley embodies the perfection that Demi Moore's character, obsessed with vanity and the fear of aging, dreams about. It is no accident that the movie reminds us,
"You are one."
Director Coralie Fargeat makes no secret of the fact that her own anger at her younger self was the inspiration for the movie. Regret for lost time, conflicts between past and present. These topics are embodied on the screen. But The Substance is not just a story. It's a provocation that can challenge the audience. The creators of The Substance deliberately provoke the viewer, defiantly breaking the common rules of decency. Close-ups of Demi Moore's buttocks and naked body might seem like objectification, but Coralie Fargeat makes these images look blatantly grotesque. She shoots Margaret Qualley in such a flamboyant and vulgar way that the scenes resemble parody advertisements, so tasteless that it becomes frightening. The movie's male perspective is carried by a TV producer played by Dennis Quaid. His cartoonish muscularity, disgusting food scenes, and predatory close-ups increase the fear for the female characters. But it's worth noting that the role was originally supposed to be played by Ray Liotta, which could have given the character even more depth. Tragically, the actor died before filming began, and Dennis Quaid got the role. This loss affected the filmmaking, adding even more tragedy to the idea of the transience of time and the unattainability of the ultimate perfection that is so vividly revealed in Substance. Fargeat also accurately conveys the woman's fear of being judged by society. In one of the scenes, Sue notices changes in her body and panically fears that others will notice. Thus, the film not only criticizes objectification, but also shows how this pressure affects women in real life. The visual world of The Substance causes discomfort from the first frames. Bright colors, which attract attention at first glance, emphasize the artificiality of what is going on, from lifeless sets and flamboyant outfits to the tensioned smiles of the characters. This theme is set in the opening scene with the copying of an egg yolk, a symbol of the mechanical counterfeiting of life. Coralie Fargeat intensifies this feeling through symmetrical compositions, referencing Stanley Kubrick's The Shining and sterile spaces. Elizabeth's apartment is a vivid example. This is not a house, but a museum of vanity, where the slightest signs of life appear only when she loses self-control. The alarming sound design completes this world. Domestic and physiological sounds are artificially amplified to an unpleasant level, becoming an instrument of pressure on the audience. Wide-angle optics that distort the shapes of objects contribute to the visual unreality, increasing the feeling that reality is deformed in the movie. All these elements, from sound to visual details, work together to show the conflict between external perfection and the inner emptiness that underlies the world of The Substance. The conflict between the real and the artificial is the central theme of The Substance. The entertainment industry in the movie seeks to hide reality by covering everything ugly behind a mask of illusory beauty. The culmination of this idea unfolds at a New Year's Eve show, where the monstrous Eliza Sue, who dreams of becoming Cinderella, destroys the festive evening. This episode becomes a vivid metaphor. Attempts to escape reality are doomed to failure. Although the television industry in the movie looks exaggerated and averaged, it is easy to guess the features of Hollywood, which imposes the cult of youth and perfect appearance. Even the substance the characters take resembles a weight loss drug popular in the West. This makes the movie especially relevant. In this context, body horror becomes a perfect tool for criticism. This genre always explores frightening body changes as metaphors for psychological or social problems. However, in the substance, it is not the change itself that causes fear, but the aging process that reminds us of the inevitability of death. The images that evoke disgust embody the characters' phobias. Against this background, simple everyday scenes look especially touching. We see the characters' real feelings through the despair and pain. The theme of aging permeates the whole movie. It is announced at the very beginning through the scene with Elizabeth Starr on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. This ingenious long shot reminds us not only of the transience of life, but also the temporality of fame, adding depth and bitter irony to the movie. In the end, the image of the star returns, becoming both tragic and ironic at the same time. Fargeat shows the price of fame, emphasizing its fragility and transience. But at this point, it is hard not to empathize with Elizabeth. Despite her vanity and mistakes, she evokes sincere sympathy. This motif becomes even more interesting when considered in the context of Demi Moore's career. The substance seems to comment on her own journey, from star of Ghost and G.I. Jane to an actress realizing her status as a fading celebrity. There is a great acting feat in this acceptance of her past. However, for the creators, it is more important not just to tell the story, but to let the audience live it. That is why the movie is full of images shot from a subjective point of view. We see the world through the eyes of the characters and hear the sounds the way they hear them. This allows us to literally find ourselves in their bodies, experiencing their fears and pain. This approach makes the changes happening to the characters much more painful for the viewer than if we were watching them from the outside. The effect is enhanced by acid montage in some episodes, conveying the chaotic workings of their consciousness. This technique breaks the usual perception of reality and makes the emotions of their characters even more tangible. Fargeat masterfully uses these techniques to merge the viewer and the character into one whole, blurring the boundaries between the screen and reality. The visual world of The Substance is created in such a way as to cause maximum tension and discomfort for the audience. This approach culminates in the movie's finale, where the director uses 113 liters of artificial blood. This incredible volume emphasizes not only the shocking realism of the scenes, but also Fargeat's desire to push the visual language to the limit. Here, blood is not just an attribute of the body horror genre, but a symbol of the gap between external perfection and inner fears that cannot be hidden. The finale does not leave the audience indifferent, literally forcing them to feel the chaos and pain of the characters. One of the main complaints about The Substance is its lack of reliability. After watching it, many questions remain. Did the characters have one conscience or two? Who created The Substance? And how did Eliza Sue's monster end up at the New Year's Eve show? However, all of this isn't really important. The movie works not as a realistic drama, but as a parable saturated with metaphors and symbols. For example, Dennis Quaid's character has Harvey Weinstein's traits, and the main character's last name, Sparkle, emphasizes her symbolic nature. The city where the events take place is reminiscent of Los Angeles, but there are almost no real distinctive features. The same applies to the time of the movie. Advanced technology is combined with the atmosphere of the 80s with their fitness shows and eye-catching outfits. This intentional conventionality helps the audience to focus on the main theme, the female experience. The substance plunges us into a world of discomfort and forces us to think about the problems of modern society. The unhealthy pursuit of success, the desire for perfect appearance, and ignoring their own feelings. That's where its strength lies. The movie doesn't require verisimilitude to convey its ideas. The substance is not just a simple genre movie, but a bold challenge to society. It exposes artificial standards and puts the audience in an uncomfortable position to make them think about themselves and the world around them. This movie reminds us that beauty is not a mask, but an acceptance of the real you. And perhaps after watching it, you will look at yourself differently.